Let's get this started! I'll show you!
Oh my god!
Gotcha! Got it!
Oh my god!
I'll show you! Gotcha! Got it!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'll show you! Got it!
Oh my god!
Gotcha! Got it!
Oh my god!
Gotcha! Got it!
Oh my god!
Gotcha! Here I go! Got it!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'll show you!
Come on, let's finish this. Gotcha! Take this! Whoops, whoops. Burn! Take this! Let's finish this.
Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Take this! Full charge! Yeah! Gotcha! Take this! Crash! Crash! Yeah! Gotcha! Take this! Crash! Full charge! Take this! Crash! Crash! Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Crash! Take this! Crash! Yeah! Crash! Full charge! Crash! Yeah! Take this! Burn! Ha! Ha! Crash! Full charge! Ha! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Full charge! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Crash! Yeah! Take this! Crash! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Yeah! Crash! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Crash! 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 Burn! Gotcha! Yeah! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Burn! Yeah! Yeah! Crash! Full charge! Take this! Crash! Gotcha! Take this! Ha! Ha! Crash! Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Take this! Yeah! Gotcha! Burn! Yeah!
No more juggling.
Crash! Yeah!
No more juggling.
Yeah! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Burn! 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 Yeah! Crash! Yeah! Burn! Burn! Gotcha! Yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha! Crash! Full charge! Yeah! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Full charge! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Crash! Crash! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Gotcha! Yeah! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Yeah! Yeah! Crash! Yeah! Burn! Crash! Full charge! Gotcha! Gotcha! Burn! Yeah! Full charge! Yeah! Crash! 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 Burn! Burn! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Crash! Yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha! Yeah! Yeah!
No more juggling.
Yeah! Yeah! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Burn!
I must say, it's pretty lame how you only get one credit. You play on easy mode. It's made by like South Americans or something, so I guess they want a hardcore experience. But it feels pretty unforgiving because you only have 2 lives and you have no extends at all. I wonder what the hardest difficulty is like. It may actually be easier. Can't unlock any of the other characters until I beat the game, so I hope the next version will be more balanced.
Come on, let's finish this.
Kind of dumb how you can just get like grabbed for like 50% and you have no extends.
Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Take this! Crash!
is up with this game, man. You just get, like, you make one mistake and it runs over. I feel like it'd be more fun if they gave you some extends. I don't think you can give yourself more lives. It's like, this game's fun, but it's just, like, so stressful because you can't make a single mistake. Try some other characters. Ugh.
Beginning mission. Spin knuckle.
Oh my god!
Okay.
No, this seems useless.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Spiral arrow. Spiral arrow. Okay.
Oh my god!
Okay. Cannon spike.
Oh my god!
Spiral arrow. Cannon spike.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Spiral arrow.
Yeah, she seems kind of clunky.
I'm ready for you. Bring it on. Alright. Hadouken!
Oh
Hadouken!
my god!
Shoryuken!
Oh my god!
Alright.
Oh my god!
Alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Shoryuken! Here I go! Shoryuken!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Shoryuken! You'll be seeing red by the time I'm done with you.
I imagine the other characters are a little bit more accommodating for a beat 'em up formula, because I don't really think a character like Vega works with all the like really long animations and stuff. That'll get you killed, especially in this game.
It's showtime! Air slasher! Machine gun upper! Machine gun upper! Machine gun upper! Machine gun upper! Rolling sobot! Hey! Rolling sobot! Yo! Rolling sobot! Hey! Yo! Rolling sobot! Hey! Air slasher! Hey! Machine gun upper! Rolling sobot! Hey! Rolling sobot! Machine gun upper! Get out of that! Air slasher! Woohoo! Hey! Yo! Rolling sobot! Machine gun upper! Rolling sobot! Rolling sobot! Hey! Air slasher! Machine gun upper! Try and stop
Wonder how piss easy this is, because normal is like... It's fine,
Let's finish
but
this.
you can't make more than one mistake. And if you're far from a level up, and you make another mistake, your run's over. I feel like normal would be better if they gave you, like, a couple extra lives, or maybe some extends.
Gotcha! Take this!
Yeah, this is too easy. Should be like another mode between easy and normal.
Yeah! Crash! Gotcha! Roll charge! Take this! Burn! Take this! Yeah! Gotcha! Roll charge! Take this! Gotcha! Roll charge! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Roll charge! Yeah! Crash! Burn! Yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha! Burn! Crash! Yeah! Full charge! Gotcha! Full charge! Full charge! Full charge! Yeah! 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 Full charge! Burn! Full charge! Take this! Crash! 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 Gotcha! Full charge! Burn! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Crash! Gotcha! Take this! Crash! 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 Yeah! Yeah! Full charge! Yeah! Yeah! Gotcha! 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 Yeah! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Crash! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Burn! 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 Crash! Gotcha! Take this!
This is a lot less stressful, and it actually still is difficult. The game has very high damage, so if you don't burst out of something quickly, you will still die. I feel it's kind of weird to have only one mode with, like, continues. I don't really understand why it's designed like that.
Full charge! Full charge! Crash! Full charge! Full
Ah, come on.
Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Take this! Take this! Burn! Yeah! Take this! Burn! Gotcha! Full charge! Full charge! Take this! Take this! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Yeah! Take this! Full charge! Yeah! Gotcha! Take this! Yeah! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Burn! Burn! Gotcha! Crash! Yeah! Take this! Yeah! 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 Full charge! Take this! Crash! Gotcha! Yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha! Full charge! Yeah! Crash! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Yeah! Gotcha! Take this! Gotcha! Take this! Burn! Full charge! Take this! Take this! Yeah! Full charge! Take this! Gotcha! Full charge! Take this! Yeah! Crash! 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 Take this!
Hold on, is my restream not working? Let me check. Might not be getting the chat messages. Well, I didn't see you guys talking in here. I'm sorry. My chat client was messed up. Yeah, this game is fun, but the normal mode seems awful because you only have 2 lives. You have no extends. The only thing you get close to an extend is the level ups. But there's a new version of this coming out. I guess it's by some other people. They're adding a bunch of characters. I know they're doing like some reworks as well. Let me go ahead and drop one of their videos in the chat. I'm sorry I wasn't responding to the chat. It's just like not working. My chat client's been like messed up. People have been talking for like an hour. I couldn't even see it. Let me find the guy's YouTube channel. Also, they give you the Streets of Rage 3 vertical dodge, but it has no iframes for whatever reason. So you can cancel into it, but you don't get any iframes. So a lot of times you actually like cancel into the dodge correctly, but you get punished for it anyway. So I hope stuff like that is fixed in Ultimate. Good old Elliot, That's a good, perfect example right there. If that had iframes, I would have not gotten hit. I don't get why the dodge has no iframes. No, in this game they specifically tell you in the they specifically tell you in the how to play that it does not have invincibility, so it's by design, which I think is dumb. Like, if I actually had the foresight to dodge, it should be rewarded with some iframes. I like how this mode is still challenging and it's still called easy mode. Just to make you feel like you're a really untalented gamer. Whereas in the normal mode, you can't make any mistakes at all. Unless you get like a really lucky level up. One mistake is all it takes. I think this takes like an hour to clear too. So it's like Fight and Rage without the like forgiveness. More forgiving design. Feels good though. Yeah, I like the responsiveness, but there's like no invincibility on anything. The parry seems pretty useless too. I'm also looking forward to Streets of Rage 2X, the new version. It's supposed to have like new moves and not such terrible balancing. I tried that one off camera. It's pretty fun. But the bosses have like 1 billion health, and they block everything. It's just totally unfun. And he said he's gonna work on that on the next version. Yeah. You can tell a lot of passion goes into games like these, but a lot of times they forget what makes them fun. You know, things like having a lot of iframes and chaining them together and just being, like, invincible. Like, having that help you with crowd management and stuff. And in this game, you don't really have that, because the dodge sucks. The dodge has no invincibility whatsoever. This is fun though. It's fun to play on easy, and normal and the other difficulties. It's just like far too stressful. So I'm gonna talk to the guy tonight. Maybe I'll leave a comment on one of his videos and see like what he's gonna make the game a little bit more fair. You only have it during throws. Seems like the first couple frames of the specials have some iframes, but it's not very reliable. Dude, the Andor belly flop has, like, the most ridiculous hitbox. It's, like, active, like, the moment that he moves. And you can't hit him out of it either. It must, like, extend past his body or something. Seems like sometimes I should be able to hit him out of it, especially since this is a long-range normal. But it never works. This is an ancient beat-em-up engine. We're talking dating back to, like, the early mid-2000s. It's been around not as long as Mugen. I think it's like 5 or 6 years younger than Mugen. It's also homebrew, so you can run it on, like, jailbroken consoles. I used to have a couple open BOR mods on my my original PSP like 12 years ago. That's how old this engine is. And you can run them from like you can even run it on the Wii, but depending on like how much resources the game takes up. Like one like this probably takes up more than some of the more basic ones. And then you can't load it into memory. But if you had like a jailbroken Switch or something, obviously you could run pretty much anything. But I think most of them run on the Vita. I've always liked this engine, it's just people tend to make really boring, limited stuff with it, and it doesn't really interest me. This one's got some pretty sick mechanics, but it's still very unbalanced. Am I soft-locked? What the hell happened? I was just trying to beat the game so I can try the other characters. And now the game's like soft-locked. Well, that's just great. Hello? Someone like chilling in the corner or what? What the hell happened? Dude, I just played for like half an hour and the fucking game soft locks. Like, come on, why is this happening? Why are they not spawning? It won't let me move forward. I want to wait till it times out, and hopefully it'll move me forward. Imagine if I was playing this on normal mode and I just wiped because of this. I might just wait for them to release the ultimate version. I think that one will be a lot better. They're going to add more characters too. It's not my last life either, so I don't know if dying will actually fix the boundary, or if it's just completely soft-locked. Nope, rip. It's soft-locked. No, remind me to never take that path again. Wow. I was having fun doing that too, but I'm not gonna do that again if it's just gonna soft lock again. That's lame. Alright, I'm gonna play something else then.
Jason. Cat Ranger. Train Strike here. Mega. Mega. Ultra. Mega. 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 Mega.
Tyrannosaurus!
Powered up. Mega. Ultra. Mega. Mega. Ultra. Super. Mega.
It's time for a cool brush. It's time for a cool brush.
Damn it.
Someone your own side. Let's do this. All right, guys, you got this.
Phenomenal.
You will not prevail.
Super.
Wish his 2H had more range. This has like no horizontal range at all. You had to be like practically hugging them. But the hitboxes in this game are pretty realistic. They're not like Muso game hitboxes like a lot of modern fighting games. And what you see is what you get for the most part. Like, see, I'm this close to him, and it's not hitting. That's part of what makes this game good, is the hitboxes are actually quite honest.
Let's do this.
I'm gonna try to get that conversion. I wish he had a better launcher. This thing is ass, man. Even the side of it, I don't think hits. Nice.
Cat Ranger, Train of Triforia.
Back to action.
3, 2, 1, fight!
I love this game. This is like... I like this and Marvel Infinite the most this gen. Everything else I haven't really stuck with. I think I've played this more than anything else, really. Only thing that's really come close is, it's Marvel.
Fight! Three, two, one, fight!
Check this out.
It's morphin' time!
Powered up!
Just don't learn. Come on, guys. Let's do this. Back to
Three,
action.
two, one, fight! Phenomenal!
Mega Blaster.
Yeah, this is a very good game. Next update's next week. Actually, a week from today, 22nd. And Quantum Ranger is coming out, so I'll be playing that at launch. There's also going to be a balance patch as well.
One. Fight.
We're not that
They update every month.
You're under arrest. Hold it right there. Check this out. It's morphin' time.
Powered up.
Alright, guys, you got this.
You know, I think the game was fine at launch. It was mostly just the being unable to block low online is what gave people a really bad impression. The online was shit, which is funny because the netcode is really good, but you couldn't block low.
3, 2,
Yeah, there were like infinites in the game and stuff, really easy ones.
Eyes on target. On my mark. Power up.
Check this out.
You will not prevail. Power up. On my mark.
Nice. I hate that super.
Back to action.
2, 1. Fight.
What do we got here?
You should run.
You're not supposed to.
Time for action.
Three, two, one, fight! Powered up!
You have been warned.
SPD emergency.
Tyrannosaurus!
Let me give you a hand.
Check this out.
Oh, what's up, Zex? I don't mind assist fighters when there's some diversity to it. When it feels like Dragon Ball Fighters, where a lot of characters just have shit assists and that like directly impacts like how effective they can be on a team. Unless they're like a battery or someone that can burn meter. I don't really like that. I like assist games, like Skullgirls is pretty cool because it has custom assists, and Marvel Infinite basically just lets you tag out anytime you want. And I thought that was kind of a cool way to like create your own assist instead of just having a couple canned ones that are mostly useless. Battle for the Grid has canned ones, but for the most part, they all serve some kind of use. You don't like completely have to build your team around like one really good assist. Like you can have a point and then like one good assist and then like a battery or Yeah, I just try to like go all out with tag combo synergy and things like that. But Battle for the Grid is an exception. It's a really well designed game, and they update it literally every month. That's kind of why I haven't been playing it much the past couple weeks, because I know that the next update's probably going to change all the combo routes completely. So I'll probably play more when Quantum Ranger comes out, which is going to be next week. Plus, I like the source material too, so that helps. Hey Zex, do you know where Ren is? I should probably get him before I continue. Look up a guide for where he is. Ah, I see where he is. Alright, thank you. I really wish this game had fast travel. It's really stupid that it doesn't. It gets really old going through the same area like 1,000 times. Just because you missed one thing, you get like punished by having to do it all again. Should just be able to go to any save point. Then there would be a point to like there being so many all over the place, but you can't for whatever reason. Damn, he's like all the way up there. I don't mind it. It is fun to control the character in this game, but The areas are pretty big. I think they should at least give you a couple save points, so you don't feel so punished when you miss something. Especially when you've like already found everything. I already have like almost all the ring souls here, so I don't have a lot of material benefit to go back. It's nowhere near as bad as the messenger. That was probably the worst in my opinion. You had to backtrack a ton in that game, and there really wasn't a way to speed it up. Ah, I hate these bastards. I can't skip this. Why are these guys coming back? Like, sometimes they respawn and sometimes they don't. Oh, I guess it's because I got to the second act of the game, so they do come back. That's probably why. I find those guys extremely obnoxious to fight. Why does he have to be in, like, the complete polar opposite of the map? And I have to go all the way back after this, too. Oh my god, I'm getting frustrated. I'm annoyed with this game sometimes. You miss something, it's just all this platforming you had to do again. I just can't play this game today. Learn how to teleport. Where the hell do I go? Do I have to go all the way around? Of course I do. Yeah, I'm like missing all the I have all the collectibles and stuff, so I don't remember where to go. Finally.
Huh, are you for real? I think so.
Now we'll have some fun.
Of course, there had to be death zones down there, so you can't get down faster.
Get out there and fight! Don't underestimate me.
This game really needs a mini-map. I think that's this game's most glaring flaw, is that there's no mini-map. So unless you have everything memorized, you're going to be constantly pausing. It's pretty baffling that it doesn't have one. I only consider that to be a partial solution, because you have to constantly do that. It would be better if it just had a mini-map. There's like so much space on the screen for it. It's like a solution, but it's like half a solution, in my opinion. I forgot there's no ship. I don't remember how to get back now. Oh, man. I forgot the ship's not there. I think I have to go to the chakra gate. No, that's right, there's not one in here either, because that would make sense. I don't remember where to go. I don't remember how to get to the next town. Don't tell me I had to go all the way back. God damn it, man. This is starting to piss me off. Yep, I have to go fucking all the way back there. This chick needs to learn how to teleport. And I just wasted my time going all the way over here. This is making me not want to play this right now. I forgot that they take the ship away from you because Boutsai leaves. Like, of all characters that have to leave, why does it have to be that one? I don't even know how to get back there. Naturally, the one that can, like, actually just take you places leaves. I'm totally stumped now. I don't know how to get back down there. Does anyone know how I get back? Yeah, I don't want to play this right now. I'm getting annoyed with getting lost and the backtracking and not being able to teleport. I know I'm like almost done with the game, but I don't know where to go. It's like, why can't it take like one of the useless characters away instead of the one that has the damn ship? I don't know how to get back down to where that book was. I'm just not in the mood for it right now. I'm getting pissed off. Let me see if I can look up a walkthrough. I think I was in the right spot before. Actually, no, I wasn't. I was still thinking that the ship was there, and it wasn't. So even though I had to go all the way around to find Ren, I still wouldn't have been in the right place. Oh, okay. I'll give it one more shot. If I start getting pissed off, I'm done. Just not really in the mood to go all the way fucking back. I think this part of the game just starts to really just kind of drags for me because there's like not that much new happening. You're in the exact same areas and you've already cleared out like almost everything there is to collect. And there's no easy way to just get to where you want to go. You have to go all the way around. It kind of feels like they were just padding it out. Yeah, I'm just not in the mood to play it right now. I want to finish the game, but I'm just like not enjoying it much anymore. I just get really frustrated in games when I get lost or I make a mistake and I have to repeat a ton of content. I was really enjoying it in the first half. Like Act 1 through Act 2, I really liked the game. But then Act 3 is like just the same thing with like maybe like 10% extra content. And I don't want to call them lazy. Obviously they put a ton of work into the game, but from a Metroidvania standpoint, instead of like going to brand new areas, you're just going to the same area and there's like a couple extra rooms and you're just going through the same thing again. It's kind of lacking that satisfaction that a lot of other Metroidvanias have where you're going to a completely new area, there's new enemies and things like that. Instead, it's kind of like it's like DMC4 actually. It's very similar to that. Like that game was basically playing half of a game twice. That's kind of how Indivisible feels. Maybe that's why I'm like not enjoying it much at this point. Portrait of Ruin was very much the same thing. That game is very similar to the first half is really fun, and then you start just going through palette swap stuff just to make the game longer because they made those games on a shoestring budget. Those came out annually too, which is crazy. Even with like the rampant recycled assets in those games, putting out a game like that, like for 3 years in a row, that's pretty crazy. But I think Portrait of Ruin is probably the hardest one to go through. I liked Portrait of Ruin, but I felt like a lot of the new things they added were really half-baked. Like having two characters, the only one that really mattered was Jonathan. You only used Charlotte to solve puzzles and like cast spells. That was basically all it was. I felt like they could have made it a little better. Well, it's the same problem that Beautiful Joe 2 had. They tried to say that having two characters increased the the depth of the game, but in both of those games, you only use the other character for puzzles, pretty much. And pretty much anything involving combat was the main character. The Endless Frontier Exceed is pretty good, from what I remember. But I played that game like 10 years ago. I barely remember anything about it. I remember really liking the protagonist because he was a martial artist voiced by Tomokazu Seki. I wish they would make more games like that. More like action-based Robot Wars stuff, because I can't do the turn-based combat. It's too boring to me. Or the SRPG stuff just doesn't hold my interest. Oh, Cross X Zone, those games are like dreadfully slow. Not as bad as Namco X Capcom. That game was like... I can't describe how boring that game was. That game is just like torture to play. I think the only real major change they made, from what I know, is that in Namco X Capcom, the enemies actually had attack animations in like full turns. And that's what made the game really drag on forever. But in the Project X Zone games, they got rid of that, but they're still pretty slow-paced, repetitive games. But that little change does help quite a bit. What made it worse is that the enemies had like one attack animation. So even though you could like block attacks in that game, you were blocking the same attack like 5 times in a row. Which just like amplified the repetition. It was cool to have all those characters in one game, but actually playing it was not as fun as you'd think. Well, the characters are cool. The character interactions were cool too. It's just the actual gameplay is not anything to write home about. I mean, if you like the characters, the game's still fun and all, but a lot of people say those games overstay their welcome. I have a video of me playing Namco X Capcom on this channel from like 13 years ago. W04 Ultimate I will play, but not until it's on PC. I don't even think Project X Zone is like a lot of planning. It's mostly just a lot of patience required because it's doing the same thing for a really long period of time, and just due to the way that those games are structured, you can't really actively speed it up. But the best improvement they did make is making it so that there's no enemy attack phase. That helps the pacing greatly in those games, but they still really long games, so unless you're like really invested in the characters and the plot and the interactions, which is probably more interesting than the actual gameplay, then it's not really something that most people will finish. I've heard many people say that they started the Project X Zone games and then didn't finish them because they got burnt out. I feel like they should try something like that again, but have it be like a more easily consumable genre, like a beat 'em up or a platformer or something. I think ideally a beat 'em up would work really well, but it would require a ton of animation to do that, so I think that's probably part of it. No, they're not going to be in 4 Ultimate. There's only 6 new characters. I don't know why they're doing that, because they can't make a Warriors Orochi 5. They don't have enough assets to recycle to do that. Everybody is asking for them and they're not putting them in. I really don't understand why, but yeah, you'll have to wait. So far, my biggest complaint with Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate is that there's no accessory system. That was what made Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate really fun, is they had all the cool stuff to grind for, but apparently the only stuff you get from doing the new Infinite mode is just more weapons. I'm like, I don't really need to do more damage in that game. I can, like, kill anyone off a juggle starter whenever I want. I would much rather have, like, fun gear to, like, customize the way I play. But to be fair, Warriors Orochi 4 Vanilla actually did add a lot of the things that those accessories did as just core gameplay mechanics. But I was definitely pretty disappointed when they said it was just going to be just more weapons. I don't remember much about Endless Frontier, but yeah, it's a lot less repetitive. I'm gonna continue this run later. See if I feel like doing something else that won't piss me off. Oh, hold on. God, I don't have my controls reversed.
Yeah.
It's pretty disappointing they just stopped development for this game. They said they were not only going to translate it to English, they were also going to put it on other consoles. I would play the shit out of this on the Switch. It would probably be my most played, like, roguelite on the Switch, but the development team disbanded for whatever reason. And I guess they just, like, gave up. I don't know what happened, but they just straight up rage quit. Kind of like what I did with Indivisible right now. They just disappeared. Never to be heard from again. And the menu's all buggy, too, and they never even came back to fix that. Which is really weird. They just straight up gave up. Seemed like it was pretty popular in China. The only thing I dislike about this final version of the game is all the bosses that don't stagger to anything. And then, like, the game doesn't seem like it was designed with that in mind. It was already kind of difficult to punish some bosses even when they did just stagger regularly, but the ones that just, like, don't stagger at all, like the chess pieces, I can't really get behind that. Tomorrow my copy of Ninja Warriors once again arrives, so I'll probably use my cheap smartphone and do an unboxing of that. I think people will like that. Let me check exactly what it's supposed to come with. There's just like not much coming out this month, so the fact that I'm like not enjoying Indivisible much is kind of a bummer. But that game has like no replay value anyway, unless you're into speedruns. That's not the kind of game I would speedrun. I pretty much just speedrun like linear action games mostly. And the speedrun for it right now is like 2.5 hours long. That's way longer than anything I speedrun by like over double. Next week is the Battle for the Grid update, and then Dust Diver comes out of early access, I believe, a couple days after that. So next week I'll have a lot of new stuff to play, but right now I'm just playing whatever. Honestly, the rest of this year, I don't really think I'm going to be buying much of anything besides just random indie games and stuff. There's nothing else coming out. The only thing I'd really want is Orochi 4 Ultimate, but I'm not playing that game at like 20 FPS. The PS4 version of that game is terrible. And I would actually have to buy it because I game shared it off a friend back when it came out because I was waiting to get my review copy from Koei, and I had to wait like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And this one, I believe it's coming out in December for Japan, and then we get it in February. And that's when the PC version will be. So that's kind of a bummer. That would definitely be like the game I'd cover in December, but just logistically, it's way too expensive for me to do that, and the frame rate's so shitty. It would cost me like probably like $140, $150 to play that game on release day, and I would also have to grind out another file too. That's just way too much effort. I'm not going to do that. I know I'd probably make the money back in views and stuff, but it just feels like a waste of time and money. Uh, well, I mean it's the exact same game I've had since July. What happened was there was some problem with the people that were localizing the game. I don't know what happened, but it got pushed back. It was supposed to be only like a month after the Japanese one, but it got pushed all the way up to today. It came out this morning. So you'd think with like a wait like that there would be like extra content, but no, it's the exact same game I already have. It's just I had some money from my kitty sitting job, which I actually just got paid for again today. I had money to get it physically because I think that game will be a collector's item. It's not being sold in stores as far as I know. It's only being sold on Amazon. So I'd like to. I just bought it because I had the money and because I actually did play the original game a lot when I was a child. That's definitely one of my favorite childhood games, so it'd be nice to have it. But I think I will be able to sell it for money later on. I did get a 1cc on Ninja Warriors once again, but I was not at home. I was playing in portable mode. So I don't have proof of it, but I would like to get proof of that at some point. So that's probably what I'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll probably unbox my game whenever it arrives. I have to go out and do some stuff in the morning, and then I'll probably play a little bit for launch day. I think the biggest problem with Indivisible is that they're adding a bunch of content to it, new characters, but the game's just currently not really structured in a way where you could really enjoy them without playing through the game again. So that's kind of why I'm not like worried about not finishing it right away. I think they'll make that game a lot better. Skullgirls was very much the same way. Skullgirls was a broken mess with like 8 characters when it came out, and it's held in very high regard today, but it only got there after like years of patches and updates. But the problem with Indivisible is that it's not a competitive game, it's a single player game, so the fact that they didn't launch it in like the best state possible is kind of a bummer for them because they're going to be working really hard to improve the game and people have already moved on. You know, stuff like Skullgirls and Battle for the Grid, those are both games that got improved massively over the course of several updates, but they're competitive games, so people keep coming back. But when you add like 8 characters to a single player RPG, like realistically, how many people will come back or care at all? That's kind of the issue. But the game was already like really late. I think they were only expecting to work on it for like 2 years, and it took 4. So I guess they just got to the point where they were told to put out what they had, which happens a lot in the industry. It's really only like completely indie developers with no publisher that have like that can just work on something indefinitely until they get tired of it or they just decide they're done. I just wasn't in the mood to play it today. I'll try again tomorrow. I've had a pretty hectic couple weeks working my kitty sitting job and then trying to run this channel and stuff. And it's just been hard. Been like all over the place doing stuff. Now that things are starting to calm down, I don't have to go in there in the morning. I might try it again. I got a Yori's voice. Yeah, I think just single-player RPGs have a lot less leeway in terms of releasing without features. Because they're games that people typically only play once and never go back to again, unless it's like years down the line or there's like an achievement or New Game Plus or something to keep things interesting. But Indivisible doesn't have anything like that, so I'm sure like a year from now it'll be like a way more polished and more fun game. It'll probably have better replay value, but not many people are going to come back. And typically the only way to make like drastic changes like that to a single player RPG is to just make like a special edition or something. And obviously an indie developer does not really have the like the name brand recognition to do that. Yeah, you can do that with like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or Tales, but you know, a smaller indie game, it's not really possible to do that. So I'm curious to see what they'll do. I'll probably finish the game later this week. I just don't feel like playing it right now. And it's kind of a shame they weren't able to put everything in that they wanted, but I feel like it probably would have taken another year, and the game would have been like half a decade wait at that point. A lot of people are like really disappointed with it. I can't really say I'm disappointed with it because I didn't back the game and I wasn't really following it too much. I mean, I knew that it was coming out and everything, but I wasn't like looking at all their updates and every single change and everything. But I feel like if they had waited another year, maybe it wouldn't have disappointed as many people, but it probably still would have because it just would have been so long. Bloodstained is in a much better state, in my opinion, because there's like cool mods for it, and it has New Game Plus, and there's like different ways to play the game. So even though the actual material replay value is not much right now because none of the DLC has been added yet, it's still more to do in that game. Like, you can have fun just like making random gimmick builds, like that ninja build that I did for my channel. That was really fun. But Indivisible doesn't really have any equipment or gear or builds or anything really. So that's a pretty limiting factor. Not a lot of ways that you can play the game, no matter how you slice it. Yeah, gaming's a pretty expensive hobby. It always has been. In my opinion, it's cheaper now than it's ever been, but you have to be patient. That's the main thing. But then there's stuff like Nintendo games that are perpetually $60 and that are really difficult to afford. But like stuff like this, generally, if you wait a couple months, you can get it for like under $20. But when you're a content creator, you don't really have that luxury because you have to have content out as soon as the game releases, and that's what gets really expensive. And if you're patient and frugal, you can get games for like 50, 75, even 80% off. Like this game was like $10 for like 2 weeks. A steal for this game. It's still not complete, but there's a lot to do. Where are you from? I know regional pricing is a problem. Ironically, like, indie developers are a lot worse about it than some big publishers sometimes. Yeah, I know the politicians in Brazil are assholes and they charge a massive amount of money for games. Unless they're made in Brazil, which is kind of stupid because everything's made in China. That's such a dick move to me. Like, Nintendo won't officially release the Switch in Brazil because they would have to make it there, which is far more expensive than they want. No, I mean, even when you live in a country where it's not easy to buy consoles, gaming PC is pretty much a better investment anyway. You have more control over the device. Honestly, I've had a really disappointing experience with this generation's consoles. Like, pretty much every game I've really wanted to play runs like shit on the PS4. Like, really bad, like, barely 30 FPS or, like, uncapped. Modern consoles are fine if you're just gonna play, like, Fortnite and Call of Duty and stuff, but if you play, like, literally anything else, it's always better to just have a gaming PC. I hope the next generation consoles will not be so damn weak. Haven't had games at like a consistent 60 FPS since the PS2 era, which was like 20 years ago. I barely use my PS4. I turn it on like once a month. Because pretty much everything gets ported to PC now.
Shit! 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 Pushed up! Shit! 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 Shit!
Nah, the biggest problem, the only problem I have with the Switch is that a lot of the ports are terrible. You have to like really do your research before you buy a Switch game. Even if it's something you think the Switch could run easily, a lot of times they get like really inexperienced porting studios to do it, and it ends up being like the worst way to play the game. What's kind of nice about being a PC gamer is you don't have to worry about that as much. There are definitely awful PC ports, but generally, if you have a decent computer, you can run pretty much anything as long as you tweak the settings a little bit. But on the Switch, you don't have that luxury. You could be stuck with a game like Bloodstained on the Switch that like barely works. It's been almost 6 months now, and they still haven't fixed it. That's what gets really tiresome. But I think PC ports, especially from Japan, are actually they've gotten a lot better the past few years. Like when I first got this computer, they were still in a pretty bad state, but now they're almost on par with like Western developed games. Still not quite there, but it's much less of a gamble getting a Japanese game on PC than it was just like back in like 2014 or 2015, not that long ago. Alright, I think I'm going to take a short break, grab a snack, and upload tomorrow's video, which will be Final Fight LNS. Tomorrow, it is very possible that I will get a review key for Dust Diver on Switch. They said that the keys are going out tomorrow. I have a pretty high chance of getting one. So if I do, I'll be playing that. Otherwise, I'll probably play some other stuff. Yeah, I had a laptop for a while, but I don't like laptops for heavy-duty use because they're a real bitch to repair. Because a lot of the parts are very specific to laptop models, which make them a lot harder to replace. When you have just a regular tower, it's very easy to diagnose what's wrong with your computer and change it. Well, with a laptop, it's a whole ordeal, and it's very expensive to repair, no matter where you live. Because most of the PC repair shops aren't going to have those parts, like, just on their person at the store. I think gaming laptops are mostly for people that, like, travel a lot. Like, that, like, do it for work, or they have, like, conventions they go to or something, and they're very rarely at home. I would never really want a laptop again, honestly. I'm pretty cool with just having a Switch and a really shitty smartphone. That pretty much suits all my needs right there. Laptops are just way too high maintenance. They're too difficult to fix if anything goes wrong at all. I put in the money for a gaming PC. I definitely don't regret it. It gets really frustrating when Windows decides to update and like breaks everything. Like the last update completely broke like all my recording software, but I still appreciate having the freedom to do what I want with the PC and upgrade it, and I can run pretty much any game I want. 'Cause I don't really play anything too heavy duty, but everything runs better than console. But I think when the PS5 comes out, I'll probably have to upgrade again. Everyone's saying it's supposed to be like super powerful. I just hope that the developers will actually use it the way it's supposed to be used. But the PS4 just has a garbage CPU, so there's not a whole lot that can be done there. Yeah, I know it's really expensive to be a gamer in Brazil. That's really unfortunate. But with consoles, you're really not missing much. When there were more console exclusives, I feel like you couldn't really be just a PC gamer, but there's very few exclusives now. Pretty much everything comes out on PC. Alright, I'm gonna take a snack break, upload tomorrow's video. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll try Final Fight LNS again. So I'll be back later tonight. If not, tomorrow. If I get that Dust Diver key, I'll probably be on in the morning. I'll probably try to unbox my copy of Ninja Warriors as well. See you guys later. If not later tonight, then tomorrow. Peace.